Okay, class, today you are going to learn how to take your original photo of your building massing and bring it into Photoshop to add some life to it. To begin with, you're going to need to download a few things. First thing you need is your actual photograph. So this is the photograph of the model taken. Notice that the scale people are in it, and the background should be white or black. It should be something simple to edit. I also am going to need a person. So I search for person walking green screen. The reason you do that is the green is really easy to select and delete. So I'm going to right click on here and do save image as, and I can save that right in my folder. I also am going to need a sky. So I search for crazy night sky. You can search for whatever kind of sky you want. This one's a little bit pixelated. So I'll download this one, but I might want one more. So I'll save image as. And here I'm going to call this stuff. I can maybe try this one, maybe a little bit less pixelated. This one's less pixelated, so I'm going to right click on here and say save image as. This will be sky 2. Okay, and I can save that. I also need an image of, so I have a T-Rex in mind. You can put something else in, but I'm going to download an image of a T-Rex. And while that's loading, I also need an image of a street. So I actually went to Google Maps. So you can search for Google Maps. And then I put down this little person that pops up right around where BDS is. So we're next to Greenmount Cemetery on Federal Street. Then we should be, I think we're around here. So I think I need to go down the street. Did I miss this? Okay, there we are. And actually, I think I want to be, if it'll let me go down the alley, I think I want this alley view. And my goal here is going to be to get an angle similar to my photograph. So my photograph, I kind of have this like angle here. Can you see it's like pretty severe? Let me see if I can make this smaller. So I have a pretty severe angle, so I think I'm going to bring this up like that. And then that should get me pretty close. So let's look at that picture again. So I'm trying to get that angle to be similar to that angle. Okay, great. Once I have that, I can use my snipping tool to copy that and save it. So then I go to save, and I'm going to save that all in the same folder. So right now I'm just navigating to that folder. And this one I'm going to call street. And then once I have that, I don't need that anymore. And last thing is to download the T-Rex. So save image as T-Rex. And I'm saving it in the same folder. Great. Okay. Now that I have everything I need to make my image, so I'm going to make a brand new file in Photoshop. So I have a file, new. And then change this to US paper, select letter, and 11 by, let's do 11 for the width, and 8.5 for the height. 300 pixels per inch is great, and hit OK. I'm going to go to File, and then click on Place. I need to navigate to my folder, so I need to find that folder again, where I saved everything. And I'm going to put in my example file and hit Place. Okay, I want to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to drag out the sides of this while holding Shift to make it fill the whole screen. And then I'm just going to click anywhere else and hit Place to get it on there. Great. Next thing I want to do, I need to cut out the whole background. I don't want that on there. So to do that, I'm going to use this tool called the polygonal lasso tool. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on this little button. So make sure that this is highlighted where it says Photoshop Example 2. This is called a layer. Make sure it's highlighted. Now click here to make this new mask layer. It's called a mask. So the mask layer allows us to delete out other parts of this file. So I'm going to use my polygonal lasso tool to trace the edge of my buildings here. Tracing the edge. And notice I'm cleaning it up a little bit as I go. Cleaning that up. So I'm tracing all the parts around my building. It's all the parts I don't want. Then I'm going to come around the outside and finish out that shape. Here, I'm now going to go to Edit and click on Fill. Make sure over here it says black and this says 100% and click OK. That now deleted that whole background part. If I were to hide this, so if I disable my layer mask, it's still there. It's just behind this mask. Okay, next thing I want to do is put in my street. So I'm going to go to File, click on Place, and select my street and hit Place. So right now my street is in front of my building. So I'm going to come over here to my layers. And I'm going to drag it beneath my building. Then I'm going to move this over and try to match it up with my building so it's about right. Okay, so that's about the right angle for my street. It's a little bit too small, so I'm going to type Control T, and then I can actually hold the edges of this to make it a little bit bigger so that it fits my image. And keep going. Okay, so I'm just getting, looks like it's going to end right about there. Okay, great. And I'm going to double tap, click on here, and hit Place. If I want to edit the angle a little bit, I can also hit Control T. And then if I hold down Control, I can move this. You see I'm moving my image back and forth? I can move it a little bit to help change the angle. So I can exaggerate this angle a little bit, for example. Or if I come over here, I could bring this one over a little bit. But I shouldn't have to make too many edits because I started out with a photo that was in the same perspective. Next thing is my sky. So I'm going to go to File, Place, select my sky image, and type in Place. So that image didn't work, so I'm going to try the other one. So File, Place, let's try the other sky I downloaded. Okay, there's my nice sky. So I'm happy with it there, but I still want to be able to see my other building that is over here. So I'm going to drag that beneath my street file, and then I want to use my mask again to get rid of everything that I don't want to see in this file. So I'm going to click over here where my mask is, and I'm going to use my polygonal lasso tool right here. And I want to keep the building, but everything else and the street I want to keep, but the rest of this I don't need. So I'm just going to select all the way around, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and fill it with black 100%. Oops, I put it on the wrong layer. Control Z to undo that. I actually want that tapped on the street layer. So my street layer, I'll make a mask. And then it actually made a mask the opposite of what I wanted over here. So I'm going to, keeping it selected, hit Control I, and it'll flip it. And now I have that happening, which is I'm much happier with. So you'll notice that right now this image doesn't go all the way up. And maybe I want to continue that up to the edge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to hit Control C, and I'm going to type in Control V. And I just made a new layer with that piece on it. For a new layer, I'm just going to move it up And so it looks like it's going all the way up. And here where it's a little bit funky because it's overlapping, I can use my eraser tool, which is over here. I can just erase the edge of that. And I can make it bigger if I come up to my toolbar. Now I have a nice big eraser. So I can, so it's not going to be perfect. It'll look a little bit funky. Control Z, I erase too much. But you can also bring the opacity of this down and blend that together a little bit better. Okay, so now I have my building, I have my sky, I have my street, I have my, and I have my massing model. So I want to add in two more things. I want to add in a person and I want to add in a T-Rex. So I'm going to go to File, Place. I'm going to put in my person, Place. So I can't see him. I'm going to drag this up. I'm going to place it first, Place. I'm going to drag this up to the front. Now here, this is all green, so I'm going to use this magic wand tool to select it all at once. I select my magic wand tool and then I just click it and hit delete. Oh, okay, I have to rasterize him first. So I'm going to right click on him, rasterize layer, now delete. And then over here, delete. Okay, so there's still a little bit of green left. In order to delete the rest of that, I'm going to go to Select Color Range. I'm going to select the green and bring up the fuzzies a little bit and then hit OK. And now I'm going to hit delete and that'll start getting rid of that green. I can continue to delete here, just get rid of any of that lingering green that's going on. Okay, to resize him, I type Control T, and then I can make him smaller. And I'm going to make him the same size as my little plastic model I have on here. So let's say he's like that big, because I know that's about how big a person should be. So I can either add him over it to cover him, or I can just put him next to it like he's another person hanging out. So I'm going to put mine over. If I want to get rid of, like let's say I don't want to see the different file behind him, I can come back over to this layer. I can rasterize this. Right click, rasterize smart object, and then I can use this tool called my stamp tool. And what it lets me do is if I click on the background and then click, it basically makes a paintbrush that looks exactly whatever I'm clicking on. So I'm making a paintbrush that looks like that. So see how I'm getting that color and putting it over there? So I just want to get rid of this tape behind him. So I'm going to Alt and then cover. And then Alt and cover up that little bit. Okay, that's all fixed. Awesome. Last thing is to put in the T-Rex. So I'm going to go to File, Place, bring in my T-Rex, Place. This one I can use my mask tool again. So I'm going to use my magic wand to select all the white. And I can either just delete it or I can make a mask. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-I, and I'm going to click on my mask. And now he's all masked out. There is that like wacky line on the top and bottom. I can use this lasso tool and go to Edit, Fill, okay, Edit, Fill, okay, and that's just going to get rid of that last little bit. Now I'm going to take this and do Control T and bring him down in size, so he's sitting right here. Okay, and apply the transformation. And that is all it takes. I can save this file. As a Photoshop document. I can also save it as a JPEG, save as, and change this to JPEG. And that gives me a little bit of a smaller file that I can post online or wherever I would like.